Hello, everyone. Again, good morning, good afternoon, as per your respective time zone. We've got quite a few attendees joining in, so we'll wait for just a couple of minutes and then we'll begin with today's session on workforce management and payroll. Hello, everyone. On behalf of entire Evosys Managed Services team, we'd like to welcome you all to 21C Workforce Management and Payroll Advisory webinar session. This important session is to keep you fully synchronized with the new features and functionalities as a part of quarterly release which Oracle provides. My name is Hardik Patel and I'm an operations manager here at Evosys Managed Services Department. Today I'm your host for this session and I'm glad to introduce my colleague, Ms. Yagni, who is part of vast HCM team. Along with her, we've also got Mr. Nitil Patel, who's also been consulting with Evosys from over 5 years now. Yagni will take over in a few minutes. Before that, I'd like to tell you that she has worked on quite a few managed services projects here at Evosys. Today, she'll take us through all the workforce management and payroll updates for 21C quarter release. Today's session is planned for approximately 60 minutes, and we'll make sure that we also leave some time to answer all your questions you may have. Let's move on to our next page, which is the agenda of today. This is to give you a glimpse that we would like to convey you our approach towards the Oracle updates in a very simpler method. We'll be taking you through a vital analysis for the 21C updates done by our experts, which will help you incorporating new features and updates easily into your system. Also, we'll think you on any bugs or known issues if there are any. We'll be also taking you through some innovative ideas introduced by Evosys team. Then after that, we'll have a Q&A session. It's good to have an interactive session, so please do ask your questions through a chat or question panel, and we'll answer them at the end of this session. In case if we run out of time, we'll make sure and connect you at a later stage as well. Moving into next, how to read each feature's summary. So this is to give you again a glimpse on how we have created a structure of this session. So list of new features coming into 21C, detailing or short description on the features, so you get brief understanding on what new features are all about. Next one is what are the business benefits and the important takeaways for you as the decision maker. There are 4 components where we have done in-depth analysis of features which are going to present to you today. The first one is an impact level analysis, which demonstrates the impact on the end user. If it's a low impact, regression testing can be avoided or not. If it's a high impact, we need to opt for the regression testing. As we all are aware that there are some features which are by default auto-enabled by Oracle, and there's some which we need to opt for. Third one highlights the nature of feature. There would be certain configurations which may be required, and some can be used without any changes. And the last one is a quick win. This term we use to simply convey that what is ready to use by investing minimum amount of time and what requires significant amount of time and effort to make use of these features. So all these things will be covered by one of my colleague, Yagni, in today's session. So I'm going to be handing over to her. Yagni, over to you now.
Thank you, Hardik, for the introduction. Hello everyone, I'm Yagni Raulji and I'll be taking you through all the quarterly updates of workforce management and payroll for 21C. Before we deep dive, let's take a quick analysis on the different updates that we have this time. Consolidating both workforce management and payroll, in total there are 12 updates, out of which 7 are default ones and 5 would be quick wins. 5 would be opt-in features. And even out of the 12 total, 11 are opt-ins, which require minimum to no additional configuration to enable the feature. So let's begin with quick wins, which require no additional configuration. The first one is improved multiple assignment support to schedule non-working days. So previously, when you would record an absence through advanced mode, the zero duration entries were only generated for the common non-working day in all of employees' assignment. With the enhancement in 21C, the zero duration entries will now be generated for every non-working day for each of the employees' assignment. So let's understand this better using an example. As you can see in the table here, 16th March acts as a non-working day in both of the employees' assignment, whereas 17th and 18th is an individual non-working day in only one of the employees' assignment. So previously, what we would have expected to happen is only one zero duration entry for 16th March. But post the 21C upgrade, what we expect to happen is two zero duration entries for 16th March for both of the assignment, as well as individual zero duration entries on 17th and 18th for one of the employees' assignment. So this definitely brings a more clearer and detailed picture into how the absence duration is being calculated for the employee with multiple assignments. Next, we have better checks to enter and validate absence reasons. So again, previously when you would record an absence, the list of values for absence reasons was displayed based on the effectivity of the date of absence entry or the effective date that you've put in the person search, which definitely leads to inconsistent results depending on which one of the above you're following. So post the 21C upgrade, the absence reasons will be displayed effective as of the absence start date. So this will definitely enable more consistent and correctness of data throughout your system, as well as help ensure that the absence reason selected is more valid to the absence that you're currently recording. Now, in case you have any absences in the system that are associated with inactive absence reasons, Oracle has also brought a diagnostic test called absences display of absence with end dated reasons, which you can run. This diagnostic test will generate a report that will show you all such absences that are associated with inactive absences. And depending on the number of such records, you can either make the change manually or use an HDL to mass correct the data in your system. Next, we have time change request enhancement. So this enhancement will help the manager easily identify the time entry that was pertaining to the change request applied by the employee. So as a time and labor manager, when you open the time card for the employee, the change request will be clearly visible through a banner update. If we see on the first screenshot here, this banner update clearly identifies that the time entry of 5th April was the one that was recorded by the employee as a time change request. When you would click on the view request button here, a pop-up will be displayed which will show additional details relating to the time change request. So this enhancement definitely makes it easier for the time and labor manager to identify and locate the time change request that was recorded by the employee. Next, we have generate HCM rates for payroll relationship group. So an additional parameter has been added in the generate HCM rates flow called payroll relationship group, wherein now the business can run the process for a specific group of employees who require any recalculation of rates. So what you would need to now do is you can create an object group of payroll relationship type and attach the same here in the payroll relationship group parameter, and the process then will only run for those specified number of employees. Next we have is a responsive page for run results. So in 21C, Oracle has ideally redefined and redesigned the entire run results page, wherein now the payroll administrator can actually customize and filter out the results that they view on the run results page. So the different options the payroll administrator will now have is they can sort the results based on element name or processing priority, or sort them ascending or descending based on the result value. They would also be able to filter out the results based on a specified number range, or based on the assignment, or based on the element classification. There are various other options to filter as well. Additionally, Oracle is also providing you a way to directly navigate to the element entry for the particular result. So you can click on the actions button here next to the result, and it will directly navigate you to the element entry for this result. You can also click on the expand button here, which will open up additional details pertaining to the run result as well. Next, we have is redesigned page for benefits and pensions calculation card. So in the 21C upgrade, the benefits and pensions card has been modified to have a more consolidated view wherein you can add your pension scheme and the percentage details at the same time in a single view. So this reduces the overall time taken to add a pension scheme for an employee, at the same time provides an enhanced user experience to the payroll administrator. Additionally, this would also show you the active value definitions that are currently being used by the component. Next, we'll take a look at the features, quick win features, which would require some amount of configuration to enable them. So the one that we have here is employee reference to BACS file for CMS DEO court order payments. So previously, when you would run the EFT for third-party payments, a single record was generated for the payment that is to be made to CMS DEO pay, which consolidates all your employee amounts. So with the enhancement in 21C, you can now enable the feature that would allow you to send individual records of payments for every employee along with their order reference number that are to be paid towards the CMS DEO court orders. So to enable this feature, what you need to do is you need to navigate to the UK tax reporting unit details page and enable the checkbox called DEO output employee reference to BACS. Next, we will take a look at the opt-in features. The first one that we have here is time card change audit enhancements. This enhancement will show the change audit information for a time entry affected by a time card split. So in case the time card was split into two due to resubmission or due to changes in the time entry profile, the audit information will also be split accordingly. So what you need to do to enable this is you can firstly go and add your change audit reasons in the lookup code called ORA HWMCA reasons. Then you need to make sure that you have a valid time entry identifier which you have set in your time layout set task. And lastly, you will also need to enable the audit options on the worker time processing profile. Next, we have is self-service cash disbursements of compensatory plan balances. So Oracle in 21C is providing the feature to enable request cash disbursements by employee and line managers for compensatory plans specifically. So in the last tab called entries and balances for your absence plan, you can enable this for employees and line managers under the discretionary disbursement section. What this change would do is it will bring your compensatory plan in the drop down list available here when you request cash disbursement. Another thing to note here is that for line managers, they would only see the plans associated to the assignment they're responsible for. So the multiple assignment security applies here as well, which is definitely an added benefit. Next, we have is enhancements to view process information group. So this enhancement includes added person level security to the process information group task. To enable it, what we need to do is we need to make sure to add the aggregate privilege called ORA Pay Manage Process Information Group in your payroll manager and payroll administrator job role. Now, in case you are using seeded payroll manager and payroll administrator roles, this aggregate privilege will already be added for you post the 21C upgrade. But in case you are using custom roles for the same, you would need to explicitly add this aggregate privilege in order to enable this feature. The next feature we have is reference enhancement for voluntary deduction elements. So in 21C, Oracle is bringing this feature that would let you maintain separate balances for every loan deducted based on a specific reference number. So when you create your voluntary deduction element, an input value called deduction reference will automatically be created depending on what answers you give to the below two mentioned questions when you're creating the element. So we look at the questions one after the other to see what is the answer that we require. So the first one, what should happen when there are insufficient funds to cover the deductions? If you enable arrears, a reference is required for each deduction entry. So for this question, if you either select do not take partial deduction, place all in arrears, or take a partial deduction, place remaining in arrears, your deduction reference input value will get created. And for the second question, do you want to stop processing when the total owed is reached? If you enable total owed, a reference is required for each deduction entry. For this question, if you use the answer as yes, then also your deduction reference input value does get created. An additional functionality that Oracle is providing with this feature is a formula called get reference code from database sequence. So this formula will help you automatically generate the reference numbers for individual per element entries. In case you are not using an alternate method to define your reference numbers, then you can definitely attach this formula to your deduction reference input value. Next, we will take a look at the remaining features that we have. So the one that we have here is manage element entries using REST API. So in 21C, Oracle is bringing up the functionality that allows you to create, update, and delete element entries using the REST APIs. So what you need to do to enable this is you need to assign the required roles these two aggregate privileges. The first one is Aura Pay REST Service Access Element Entries RO, which is a read-only aggregate privilege that you would need to add to your role. And the second one is Aura Pay REST Service Access Element Entries. This aggregate privilege will actually allow the user to create, update, and delete the element entry. The next set of features that we're going to look at are the OTBI enhancements in 21C. So the first one here is assignment level security on payroll subject areas. So the three subject areas that are going to be having the assignment level security are element entries real time, element entries history real time, and costing setup details real time. So this feature is subject to the fact that you have enabled the assignment level security in your instance. Then only this feature would ideally restrict the data based on the security that you've enabled for these three particular dashboards. The next feature is additional attributes to payroll subject areas. So Oracle in 21C is bringing up a couple of additional attributes in the subject areas that are mentioned here. And what you would need to make sure is, in case you are using any existing reports or any existing reports that are built on these subject areas and you would want to use these attributes, they would have to be explicitly added there. The next section we have is known issues, any issues that have been identified by Oracle. So the first one here is absences, OTBI subject areas, hide certain absences for multiple assignment employees. So this issue occurs when the employee records a person level absence through advanced mode. So the line manager will ideally be able to see the absence through the UI, but in case they're trying to view the same absence through any OTBI reports, the absence might not be visible to them. So what Oracle is currently suggesting is that in case you're trying to record a person level absence, then we try to record it using the basic mode and not advanced mode. The next we have is HCM calendars can't display overlapping resource exceptions. So the issue again occurs when you assign multiple overlapping resource exceptions at the same level for the employee. In that case, the resource exceptions won't be correctly visible on the calendar for the employee. Currently, there is no workaround or fix for this issue, as Oracle does not believe there is a correct or functional reason for such a requirement. Hence, they are suggesting to avoid configuring the system in such a manner. Next is responsive professional payslip page smartnav issues. So what happens is when you navigate to the payslip through the payroll work area, the smartnav that is displayed there for the employee does not contain any payroll actions. So in case you want to perform any payroll actions on the same employee, ideally what Oracle is suggesting is you navigate back to home and open the payroll work area again and navigate to the specific payroll action that you're trying to perform. Next is payroll global transfer business objects usability in autocomplete. So the global transfer business object currently is displaying attributes that should not be displayed. And what Oracle has suggested is we do not use this business object until the fix has been deployed in one of the future releases. The next is task iteration statuses. So when you submit another task from a current flow, the status of that task is not always accurate. So in case you roll back the second flow, it might still show as succeeded, whereas it should ideally show as corrected process. So currently what Oracle is suggesting is, in case we want to see the correct status, we re-navigate to the new flow from the view flow section, and hopefully we see a fix for this in one of the future releases. The next is automatic element entries issue when using worker HCM data loader. So what this issue is that when you load an employee using the HCM data loaders along with their historic records, the element entries that are meant to automatically generate do not happen. So a future enhancement is definitely in the works for this, but currently in order to generate the automatic element entries, we would have to load the employee without any historic data. The next is incorrect warning message appears during duplicate bank account entry. So what this issue is that when an employee tries to add a bank account from employee self-service, and they already have a bank account with the same number already added, instead of displaying it as an error, what the system does is the system shows you a warning that, do you want to become the joint owner of the bank account? So this is definitely an incorrect behavior of the system, and currently there is no workaround for this issue. The next is data loader tasks results. So in case you are performing any HDL related task, in this case, for example, initiate data loader, the results that are displayed on process results details and process results summary page might not cover all your results. So in case you want to view all the results processed in your HDL task, you might have to navigate to view flows from either the payroll work area or the data exchange work area. The next is submit related flow with errors or corrections. So in case you have a current flow which has completed with errors, or which is or with a flow which you have rolled back, in that scenario also you have an option to submit a related flow, which is again an incorrect behavior of the system. Currently, there is no fix for this issue, and Oracle is recommending that in such a scenario wherein your current process has failed or a process that you've rolled back, you do not submit a related flow for that scenario. The next is individuals can view all of their responsive time cards. So when an employee from employee self-service opens their time cards, they're ideally currently seeing all their time cards irrespective of the restrictions set on the days before or days after on the worker time entry profile. So currently what Oracle has suggested is that, again, there is no business requirement wherein such a restriction is required. So the fix is not available. But in case this is a concern for your organization, you can definitely raise it with Oracle, and hopefully we see a fix in one of the future releases.
Yagni,
next we will take a look at any.
I'm sorry for the trouble in the middle. There has been a bit of more echo compared to what it expected. So can you just cross-check your mic once? By the time I'll ask everybody that one quick poll question, that did you find the content and topics covered during the session? I mean, do you find it relevant? I would like you to have a quick answer on this. I would love to get your feedback by the time she checks on. And do also let us know if you have missed something or we are missing anything. Do write us through the question. Thank you very much. I'll be closing the poll and we'll continue with the sessions. Apologies for the break. Yagni, now we can carry on. We're expecting you've been doing really great, but just we've a couple of feedback that's regarding the echo, so you can continue now. Sorry for the trouble again.
Thank you, Hardik. I hope the voice is better now. So let's move on. The next section is replaced or removed features. So the first one here is removal of workday definition rules. Two of the rules called day with most hours and scheduled shift reference days have been removed since the upgrade of 21B. And the reason behind it is Oracle has provided is improved productivity by removing unused rules from the definition. The next is enhancement of the start day rule. So this feature has been improved, wherein in case there is an employee with a 24-hour work schedule, their earned day will now be determined based on the time entry start time rather than the scheduled start time. The next feature is payroll dashboards and OTBI catalog. So two of the dashboards, namely payroll flow details dashboard and active processes dashboard have been removed or will be removed post the 21C upgrade. The next is removal of salary VO business object. So the previously used salary VO business object was renamed as deprecated salary. And in case you are still using in case you're using the same business object in any of your Groovy expressions, Oracle is recommending that you replace that by by the new salary business object in order to continue the same flow of work that you currently have. So coming to our last and final section, which is innovation. In this section, we're going to take a look at the Evosys workforce scheduler. This is an all-in-one solution for all your timesheet absences and scheduling business processes. Often, organizations face issues with overtime calculations or payroll errors, which definitely increases the manual overhead for the administrative team and definitely results in unhappy employees. We definitely do not want our employees getting paid incorrectly or not on time for the extra efforts that they're putting in at work every day. So the aim of the Evosys workforce scheduler is to match the employee demand and the service needs to provide different functionalities depending on the role one plays in the organization. So in case you're an admin, you can create the shifts that are required by employees. If you are the timekeeper, then you can assign the schedules to employees. If you're the employee, then you can view and manage your work schedules. If you are the manager, then you can analyze the employee productivity via dynamic dashboards and reports. So the Evosys Workforce Scheduler has been built on Oracle Cloud and hence provides a seamless integration with Fusion HCM. This definitely facilitates smooth data and workflow. So to get started with the tool, you would need to provide the employee data, the absences, and the public holidays that are currently considered in your organization. And what the workforce scheduler tool would do is then help you generate your overtime hours for payroll processing, will enable you to create roster schedules for your employee. It'll also report the number of hours the employees are working on a daily basis or the number of hours that they have missed on working on a daily basis, which will definitely help you on your absence information. Next, let's take a look at the different features that are provided by the workforce scheduler. So one of the key features is definitely creation of shifts. The tool really enables you to very easily create recurring shifts for your employees that you can use again and again. It also provides this auto schedule feature wherein you can automatically generate schedules depending on the employee's availability. Next, as mentioned earlier, definitely as the integration with Oracle Fusion and the other supporting modules of payroll and projects, it really provides ease in flow and the processing of data. It also provides many functionalities to generate roster schedules for employees and set validations on them as well, depending on your legislation. Another example of that is definitely you can customize and change the preferences based on worker unions. It also provides interactive dashboards and reports for the managers to view and analyze the efficiency and the productivity of employees. Now, this would really help boost the growth of your organization. Next, it also provides integration with punching machines or web clocks in case that is something you use in your organization to record the in and out time of employees. Another cool feature is the employee self-service. So we have a really good user interface for employees wherein they can raise any personal or professional requests that they would like to. And lastly, a mobile application which definitely takes the ease of access to a higher level. I believe that was it for the session on workforce management and payroll for the quarterly update of 21C. Handing over to you, Hardik, for the closing and the Q&A.
So thank you very much, Agni, for this wonderful detailed session. There's a question from one of the attendee, Yashi Pandit. She's asking that can we restrict employee to delete the added payment methods?
Apologies for this. Actually, I was not able to unmute myself. Can you hear me, Hardik?
Yeah, I can hear you loud and clear. You can go ahead. Can we restrict employee to delete the added payment methods? The question is from Yashi Pandit.
Yeah, so we won't be able to restrict the employee to not delete the personal payment method, but we can restrict people to have access of that screen if we want by using the roles and duties.
Okay, I hope we have answered the question, Yashi. If you still need some further clarification, you can reach out to your respective project manager, or you can also write to us on business@evosysglobal.com, and we'll get back to you for a detailed question on this. So we're about to finish now. Just before we just end, would like to tell you that we'll be sending you a thank you email from us with the presentation on the features released in 21C, along with the recording of this session as well. So you can pass it to your colleagues. They can go through it if they could not make this today. We'll also send you the feedback form. So there's always a chance to improve in anything we do. So please let us know on how we did today. And so we can also improve that further. And if you have any queries on the workforce scheduler management or anything at all, you can reach out to PM. Also, you can write us on business@evosysglobal.com. And we'll be also sending you the test scripts to test this new feature. And before you all go, just one question we have for you is an opinion to rate us that how we did today. How was the overall experience? If you can please rate on a scale of 1 to 5, it'd be great help. Yeah, we can see people are leaving us their votes. Thank you very much on your overall experience on today's session. So if we have missed something, if you would like us to improve on any areas, please write it to us through chat or a question or through email, and we'll be more than happy to serve you even better in the coming sessions. Thank you. So the upcoming sessions, which are tomorrow, for the benefits and compensation, which if one of your colleagues wants to register, and the supply chain management for tomorrow as well. So thank you very much for the continuous presence today, and appreciate for your time.